Hello everyone and welcome to Vlogtober day 5. It's Monday. What can I say? I don't do well with Mondays. Mondays are the day where like the most work gets crammed into the least amount of time. And I've tried to rearrange stuff, but it just doesn't really work. It just kind of ends up being that Monday is like the most packed and most frustrating day of my week. And of course it's Monday as well, which probably makes it worse. So this is going to be a short one this evening. Apologies for that. I did just brush my hair for the first time today, just now, before I turned the camera on, and used like a whole bunch of dry shampoo because it's not looking great. I obviously also need to layer on some dye. Look how fluffy it is. This is what happens when you have it in a messy bun for like 3 days. Anyway, I wanted to quickly show you. So I did start the sock blank. I didn't get very far, as you can tell. Last night we ended up watching a movie and we had the lights off, so I couldn't really see what the heck I was doing. So I was working on my crochet blanket project instead, which I'll hopefully show you sometime this week when I finish the next color. So I didn't get that much done before I was unable to see. I also got 2 of the strands tangled, so I'm sort of rethinking my stance on refusing to ball them into 2 separate balls. We'll see. So I did do that. And I also, today, just for giggles, after yesterday, I was like, maybe I should retry using short circulars for socks. And so I did try. I was using they're the Addy ones, the Sock Wonder ones. Still is not my jam. They feel, I don't know, it's just not my jam. I'm happy they exist for people who really like them, but they're not for me, and that's okay. So basically it's gonna be a quick one because I kind of need to decompress from what was today. We did have some really nice homemade chili for dinner. We made in the slow cooker and it turned out really well. It's probably the best chili I've ever made, and it's because I used I made like a chili paste this time, using a bunch of sort of half to mostly dried chilies that we harvested over the summer, and so it had a really nice heat to it, and I think it turned out really well. But I've decided that this month, I want to read sort of spooky things. So, and I'm the kind of person where I have to kind of like not be so prescriptive as like scheduling in time to read, but not far from it. You know, the video quality is probably not going to be as good because it's getting kind of dark. But yeah, so I wanted to read kind of spooky stuff this month, and so I went ahead and I bought the hardcover for this book because everybody has been absolutely, completely raving about it. It's called Mexican Gothic, and is that showing up backwards? It is. Hooray! So I bought this book called Mexican Gothic. It is by Silvia Moreno-Garcia, and loads of people have been raving about it. And so the back just says, "He's trying to poison me. You must come for me. You know what I mean? You have to save me." That's the only thing that's on the back. So I've heard very good things. I've heard it is very spooky, but I wanted to read it ever since I read sort of the blurb on the internet, and I was like, oh, I'll buy the ebook when it comes out. And so it came out weeks ago or something, and the ebook is like just almost the same price as the hardcover, so I wouldn't usually buy physical copies, hardcovers especially, because I'm running low on space, but I figured at least, you know, I can lend it to a friend or something, or I can pass it on when I'm done with it. So I'm going to be reading that. If you're somebody who does like to read spooky stuff during October, I read a couple of really good short story compilations on my Kindle last year by Royce. They're called Spook Lights. Spook Lights 1 and Spook Lights 2. I actually met her at, well, kind of. I went to a panel that she was on at Worldcon, and she very kindly answered some questions that I had, but I don't know if that counts as like meeting her. In any case, I really enjoyed Spook Lights 1 and 2. I was gonna pull up the covers for you, but I don't know if I can find them in what has become quite a voluminous library on my Kindle. Like, I'm scrolling through and I can't Oh, here's one of them. Just show me. Anyway, I'm sorry, I can't find the cover for you. Spook Lights 1 and 2 by Eden Royce are really good, and those are both short story compilations, so if you want to read spooky stuff but you don't want to, like, you know, commit to a whole book or whatever, they are a little bit, they're Southern Gothic, so Southern meaning US, Southern Gothic. So there is a bit of like gore and stuff in there, so if that kind of stuff you find triggering, then maybe give that one a miss. But I think that they are pretty masterfully written short stories, and it's kind of like what I would like to aspire to someday with, you know, with my writing stuff, is being able to tell a complete story in a short snippet of text, which I don't know that I'm naturally that good at. I think I'm naturally a bit verbose, as you probably figured out by watching this. So those would be my recommendations for spooky reads in October. There's obviously lots more. If I get through Mexican Gothic, I will want to be reading Cemetery Boys this month, which I've also heard really amazing things about. I can't remember the author's name. I've just seen so much buzz for that book. So if I manage to get through Mexican Gothic with everything else that's going on this month, including Advent Calendar dying, which I am painfully aware is going to be taking up a lot of time this month, between the dyeing and the packing up of Advent calendars. So like, I'm looking at bundles, I can see them from where I'm sitting, and they're taunting me, and they're going, "You haven't dyed me yet, you're supposed to dye these today." Okay. So I'll probably go inside and I'm going to go ahead and dye those now. And then I'm hopeful that I'm going to get a little bit of reading time in before it's time for me to sit down and write. I tend to take a chunk of 2 hours a day to sit down and write or edit, depending on where I'm at in the process with a story. So I'm going to go hopefully get at least 30 or 45 minutes of reading time in before it's time for me to sit down and write, and then I'll read maybe a bit more when I go to sleep. So anyway, this has been a shorter but probably fine Vlogtober entry. I will catch you all tomorrow when I'm hopefully less frenzied and frenetic and have more things to say that are interesting and about yarn and not books. So